Soch Mead's post out and then get into it. Hey, Cole. Thanks so much for coming through. It is indeed time to lock in. OMG. OMG. Check my B sky. Alright, just a sec. I'm getting this post off. Perfect, thank you, Cole. Oh shit, it's our affiliate anniversary. Thank you so much. Also, hello, Lefanos. Thanks for coming through. That's so funny. Slopstream is live. Oh. fucking time. Let's lock in. Let's push the button that makes this 4-player full. Nope, not that one. This one. There we go. 1-player full. Perfect. Nailed it. First time, every time. Hello, gamers. Thanks so much for joining me on the great tier list project in which Empress Clan ranks every Grixis commander we've ever built or played in the context of the deck that we built or played on a lovely tier list on the tiers of Top Shelf, Loud Pack, Mids, Reggie, or Schwag. Before we get there though, fucking legally obligated album promo time. Boom. Hey, check that out. I released an album last week, and you can get that on my Bandcamp at djspacegirl.bandcamp.com. Hey, yo, the 5-stream streak from Lethanos. Thank you. Anyway, the album promo, yeah. So, go check that out. I put a lot of work into it. It's got a bunch of instrumental hip-hop that's inspired by Witch House and Rare Funk and Dirty South hip-hop. And if any of that is your jam, then this will probably be relevant to your interests. And it would make me feel extremely good to get album sales. So go ahead and inflate my ego. All right. Let's get into it. You need all the points that you can to surprise spam gang up on Brandon for a late birthday present. Hell yeah, dude. Get his ass. Okay. So here we are. Here's my tier list. And we're gonna fucking get into it. I have 31 files here, and 2 of them are double-sided cards, which means we have 29 commanders to rank. And that is quite the undertaking, so let's fucking get into it. We're gonna start off with everyone's favorite Universes Beyond darlings, Gobin and Fleam. And the deck that I built with them was this sort of weird reanimator deck that mostly wanted to spam the card Random Encounter. And we used Gobin and Fleam as just like literally just the front half of the card so that Gobin could deal combat damage and connive for me, putting my bombs into my graveyard and digging me further into my cards so that I could find Random Encounter. And the actual like the role that Gobin played had him at a very like medium level of impact. If you build around Gobin and Flame so that you can utilize both halves of the card, then this card is quite a bit stronger than what I was doing with it. But because that was an extremely mid game plan, I think that he's going to go in mids. And we're going to put Flame along with them because they are a package deal. That is very much a contentious take, probably, to put Gobin and Fleam in the mids tier, but he was not doing loud pack things in the deck that we built with him, so that's where he goes. Gamers, would it be useful to have a, like, Scryfall up of the card itself when we're looking at that, and then go back to the tier list? Would we like that? Cole's like, no, Quinn, no, you have to be objective. I can't be objective. We're doing this in the context of the deck that we built or played. And in that context, then he's only mids. Saws, babes. But yeah, gamers, would you find value in a Scryfall tab, seeing the full, like, image of the card in between ranking them as we like go over the rules text of the card and the deck that we built? Because we can do that. I think we should do that, actually. I've decided. Does this work? Yes, okay, perfect. Gobin Gene Splice Savant and his other half, Fleam, Gobin's creation. Yeah, so this deck, front half, I just used Gobin as like a Tonberry that connived. He couldn't be blocked and very slowly approached people and then stabbed them. I also have a Buster Sword in that deck, so having an unblockable commander was very useful for ensuring that we got the combat damage in. Speaking of the Green Goblin mask, yeah, this is that fucking guy. The actual card is Norman Osborn and Green Goblin, but I play this on MTGO, so the card that I know is Gobin and Fleam. Shout out to Fleam, everybody's favorite goblin human villain. He's so cute. Okay, yeah, so we've got that guy ranked. Who's up next? Looks like that's Idea, Possessed Sorceress. Alright, Idea, Possessed Sorceress. She's a legendary creature, human warlock for 2 in Grixis. Ward 2, at the beginning of combat on your turn, gain control of target creature and opponent controls until end of turn. Untap that creature, it gains haste until end of turn, and whenever a creature you control but don't own dies, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control, and you draw a card. And she's a 2/5. I built this deck to play all of the Grixis Spell Theft cards. I think usually when you see this card played, she is Act of Treason typal, and she's got this paragraph here that returns the creature to its owner's control if it dies when you do your Grixis Steely Boy thing of steal the thing and then sacrifice it for value. My deck was not doing that, basically. She wasn't active treason every combat, which is strong, but I had to hard cast almost all of the spells that I was stealing from my opponents, and that significantly limits the amount of power that a day is putting out, and also the level of rudeness I find. People aren't as upset about theft if you have to actually cast the spells. Make no mistake, they're still upset about theft. But it is slightly mitigated by having to actually spend resources instead of casting a 4-mana mind control on your 7-mana bomb that you've already cast and put onto the battlefield that way. So I think for the context of this, we're gonna put Idea in Loud Pack because the whole Spell Theft package as like together was pretty strong, and it did feel like I was drawing like at least 4 to 5 cards every turn once I got all of my Spell Theft cards all set up. And looking at that many cards is pretty powerful. So Idea felt pretty good. So that's where she's gonna go, in the Loud Pack. Alright, up next we have Sauron, Lord of the Rings. Is that gonna... Of course there's 2, and they both say Lord in the title. Nice. Alright, so there's our boy Sauron, Lord of the Rings. Fucking 5 in Grixis, legendary creature avatar horror, and 9/9. When you cast this spell, amass orcs 5, mill 5 cards, then return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. He's got trample, and whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, the ring tempts you. I think this guy is pretty fucking strong. The context that we played him in was just the straight up Lord of the Rings Grixis precon, and even in there it's like I cast you, I put 20 power on the board and ask you to answer that. And you're doing it in the form of 3 big guys. Shout out to Medusa, because you've got your 9/9 here, you've got your 5/5 orc, and then you've got your whatever big Grixis baddie you just reanimated. In constructed, like not the precon, you're looking at like Sheoldred or Archon of Cruelty or just like huge Grixis haymakers like that. And even in the context of the precon, they had the fucking Cavern Horde Dragon, there's an Oliphant that's still like putting out damage, and all of that was very cool and impactful. I think this guy serves Redacted and deserves to be rated accordingly. It is a very strong Magic the Gathering card. I think in the context of that deck even, bro is maybe serving top shelf. I think he was that good. Well, let's get his ass up there. That's a top shelf ass commander for me. And shout out to Lord of the Rings. There was a lot of cool stuff going on in that set, and I really liked what they did with the forces of Mordor, with the Grixis Amass archetype and the like reanimation game plan. Both Saurons do that, and I think that that's very cool. All right, up next we've got Saruman the White Hand. Of course, whatever, dude. Yeah, Saruman, the White Hand, legendary creature, avatar wizard for 1 in Grixis. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, amass works X, where X is that spell's mana value, and goblins and orcs you control have ward 2. He's a 2/5. This is a very powerful Magic the Gathering card. Any form of like cast a dude and get a dude. Well, you don't really cast a dude and get a dude. In this case, it was cast a spell and get a dude. But any of that play pattern where you're getting additional value for casting the spell that you were going to cast anyway is a recipe for something that's pretty strong. There are stronger ways to build this, but the thing that I did was to commit to a bit. I had, I think, exclusively 4 mana sorceries in the deck because I wanted to explore how powerful all of those could be with cards like Disrupt Decorum and Drawn from Dreams and just like the things that you can get away with for 4 mana. I don't even remember what all is in the 99 of that deck anymore, but I do remember that it won quite a few games with the Mizzix's Mastery and Sorcerer class leveled all the way up. At that point, you just put enough cast triggers on the stack that you fucking explode your opponent, and it doesn't actually matter what the text of the cards that you're resolving is. So that was pretty cool. With this guy, I think we got a couple of W's, but for the most part, you make a large guy, the guy has ward 2, and then you find an answer for that. I think I've seen decks in the wild that play this guy and have the giant orc token, and then they sacrifice that regularly and like using the fling effects or Rite of Consumption. There we go. Yes. Yeah, they were playing like Fling and Rite of Consumption and just like turning the large into direct damage, which is very powerful, especially if you can get another guy just by casting another one of those spells. You're never really down anything, which turns off the downside of those effects, because usually you're like trading off your large for that damage. I don't think I had anything that did that though. I think we maybe had like Chandra's Ignition because that card's extremely powerful, and then if there was a 4 mana sorcery version of that, then obvious we were on it. But for the most part, it is cast triggers, getting pings, and making a large guy to go along with that. So where does this guy fall on the tier list is the question. Great question. I think that he's probably Loud Pack because anytime you're, like we said, casting a guy and getting a guy, you just like free value. It's a lot better than having to hard cast your guys in addition to casting your non-creature spells. So yeah, I think we're going to put Saruman the White Hand in Loud Pack. He's a pretty strong commander and was pretty strong in the context of the deck that we built, even though it was just the 4 mana sorceries. Like, there are a lot of strong 4 mana sorceries. So yeah, putting my stamp on it. Saruman the White Hand, Loud Pack. Alright, up next we've got Edward fucking Kenway. This guy. Yes, I did mean Edward Kenway. There we go. And then we want to use the printing that we've got. There we go. Okay, so Edward Kenway, 2 in Grixis for a legendary creature, human assassin pirate, and at the beginning of your end step, create a treasure token for each tapped assassin, pirate, and/or vehicle you control. Whenever a vehicle you control deals combat damage to a player, look at the top card of that player's library, then exile it face down. You may play that card for as long as it remains exiled. We got the fucking passionate response from Cole in the chat. Kenway, god fucking damn it. Such a cool character and what a bullshit card. You are correct. Oh man. Light, hello. Thanks so much for coming through and enjoying my hashtag slop stream. Yeah, I think this guy is way more than Loud Pack, actually. The problem with Edward Kenway is he solves both halves of the equation of victory. You need card advantage, and you need the mana to cast the cards that you are advantaging, and Edward Kenway gives you both of those if you've got... And he fucking assassins, pirates, or vehicles he's making tapped treasures for. And it's not just like one of those, it's one for each of them. So all of those assassins and pirates that you're tapping to crew your fucking vehicles, and then the vehicles that you're tapping to attack with, bro is paying you off for all of that bullshit. He's just generating entirely too many fucking resources. And the second half here, it's not even a fucking like Timna effect. Bro is coastal piracy. So every time you deal combat damage with a vehicle to a player, you are stealing a card from them. If you were a coastal piracy and you were a huge ramp spell the way that Edward Kenway is, there's not really a way for you to be chill. You're just generating entirely too many fucking resources and you will snowball out of control. I think I built this on MTGO and played that like precisely once and was just like, this is not a thing that I can ever bring again in this metagame. They will kill me with hammers. It's not like... I'm playing vehicles, so I can't do particularly powerful things with him, but the things that I am doing are entirely too strong for the metagame where I do want to be playing him. And for that, motherfucker's going in top shelf. Like, there's... You can't. There's nowhere else he can be. So Edward fucking Kenway, I'm stamping you with top shelf. Congratulations, you were extremely fucking strong. No wonder Adewale walked out. I'm sure that's very funny, but I have not played that game, so I don't fully understand that reference. Alright. Edward Kenway aside, congratulations on your top shelf rating. Let's move on to another Grixis baddie. I mean, they're all Grixis baddies, but this one in particular is like the Grixis baddie, one of the most popular commanders in the color pairing. It's our bad bitch, Sauron the Dark Lord, and we gotta make sure that we choose the collab piece between Dominic Mayer and Donato Finstark, because that's my favorite art for the guy. Although I do absolutely adore Justine Jones's piece here. This is fucking beautiful. Truly one of the most cool cards that has ever been printed. Oh, man, if only that wasn't like $300 fucking dollars. Alright, back to it. So, Sauron the Dark Lord, 3 and Grixis for a legendary creature, avatar, horror, and he's got ward, sacrifice a legendary artifact or a legendary creature, and whenever an opponent casts a spell, amass orcs 1, and whenever an army you control deals combat damage to a player, the ring tempts you, and whenever the ring tempts you, you may discard your hand. If you do, draw 4 cards, and he's a 7/6. Oh, and Light says it's a lovely piece of art, and I have opinions about it as a game piece. Is that the Justine Jones printing that we're talking about there? Yeah, I mean the posters are not particularly legible, but that is kind of irrelevant in the year of Scryfall. Just go look the card up if you can't read it. Whatever. Anyway, so here's Sauron the Dark Lord. And I think that this guy is a powerful, inevitable force of evil, maybe one of the strongest Grixis commanders they've ever printed. Why does he have 4 distinct paragraphs of rules text? He is the setup, he is the payoff, he is the alpha and omega. Bro is in-fucking-credible. Even if you are a casual mid-smoker, low-tor exclusive cards deck builder, bro is serving entirely too much redacted. You he won't stop yapping. Yeah, bro is in the East villain monologuing. But yeah, like bro is every time the ring tempts you, you can discard your hand and draw 4 cards. And whenever an army you control deals combat damage to a player, the ring tempts you. There's your fucking setup and your payoff. And the setup for the setup, your opponent, like he's a mana gorger Hydra. The Hydra that you get dealing combat damage tempts the ring, which like moves you forward in whatever you're doing on that level of the game plan. And then whenever the ring tempts you, he's got another fucking payoff. You discard your hand and draw 4 cards. So every time you cast a Nazgul, every time you get to the beginning of your turn with that enchantment, Call of the Ring, or any of the other cards that just say the ring tempts you as like trinket text, bro is discarding your hand and drawing 4 cards if you want. It is so fucking powerful to look at that many cards, and it doesn't matter super whatever the rest of your game plan is, because he's just gonna do it all for you. If you're a nasty crime goblin, you can play things like Goblin Bombardment or free sacrifice outlets, so that every time your opponents cast a spell, you can sacrifice the orc army to that and generate value. You can also just play a Mana Gorger Hydra basically and let it fucking rock. Let that guy get massive and then hit them with a large. My deck build of this was mostly the power-based board wipes of like Chandra's Ignition and the one from War of the Spark that has a mass on it. Like it was a Grixis Amass deck at its core. We played almost all of the cards that were good that said Amass on them, so that we could unify the like zombie Bitter Blossom and the March from the Black Gate enchantments and every other thing that said like amass orcs and amass zombies. What else did we have in the deck? A lot of the cards that say the ring tempts you, so we're just like leaning all the way in, and of course you know we're on all 9 Nazgul. And even in that deck build, Sauron is just a ridiculously powerful Magic the Gathering card, and he's almost impossible to interact with. If somebody wants to Doomblade this guy, well, first off, he doesn't die to Doomblade because he's black, and secondly, if you hit him with like murder or something like that, you have to sacrifice your commander or a legendary artifact, and you probably don't have a legendary artifact, so come about them coins, babes. Give me your commander. And that cost is fucking ruinous, so nobody's paying it, unless they're wrathing. Like, if they want that guy gone, they're gonna have to wrath the entire board if they don't want to pay the ward. And they will. They will indeed wrath the entire board just to get rid of Sauron. And that's worth it, because I'm coming out on top on all of this. I've got my hand stocked with all of his, the Dark Lord's Wheel. I think all of this is, we're gonna put this guy in the fucking top shelf. Like, there's no way he ends up anywhere else. He's too strong of a Magic the Gathering card. It kind of doesn't matter what you do in the 99. He solves the rest of it for you, and he's an incredibly beautiful piece of art that I love to look at. It all comes together in a very top shelf package. So yeah, congratulations, Sauron the Dark Lord. We're rating you top shelf. Up next, we've got a Doctor Who commander, the Rani. She is a legendary creature, Time Lord Scientist for 1 in Grixis, and whenever the Rani enters or attacks, create a red aura enchantment token named Mark of the Rani, attached to another target creature. That token has Enchant Creature, and Enchanted Creature gets +2/+2 and is goaded. And whenever a goaded creature deals combat damage to one of your opponents, investigate. I have played the Rani in the context of both the Grixis Doctor Who precon as the commander and as the commander of a dedicated goad deck in Grixis. And it's a pretty strong Magic the Gathering card, but the fact that the card advantage that the Rani is putting out is in the form of Investigate rather than just straight drawing you the cards like Edward Kenway does or whatever, does kind of limit the amount of power that you can get out of the card. Additionally, the needing to attack to generate the Mark of the Rani tokens, and the fact that the Mark of the Rani has to go on somebody that's not her, so you can't like buff her with that, means that she's a little vulnerable if you're sending her into the red zone every turn. It does get a little bit easier if you've goaded all of your opponent's creatures. They do end up tapped unless they've got like creatures that they played that turn and are summoning sick and are not allowed to attack. Those guys can block for you, but otherwise, you're fucking sending her into the red zone. She's a little bit vulnerable, and unless you've built around that with like equipment or whatever to ensure that she can make it through safely, there's that little bit of risk, and recasting her doesn't feel great. So I think that while she's a very fun card, she's simply not putting out power to the levels of either Sauron or Edward Kenway. Definitely not fucking top shelf material. I think that the Rani is a solid and respectable mids commander. I liked her a lot, and she's not going to scare the hoes if you put her in the command zone. So yeah, the Rani, I'm stamping you with mids. Congratulations. Up next, we have Gorogoro and Satoru. These guys are just straight up Grixis to cast for legendary creature Human Goblin. Cole says, ugh, these fuckos. Yeah. Whenever one or more creatures you control that entered this turn deal combat damage to a player, create a 5/5 red dragon spirit creature token with flying. And for 1 and a red, creatures you control gain haste until end of turn. They are a 3/4. Oh, Gorogoro and Satoru, what can I say about you? What a cool card. I really like that they are the perfect commander for ninjas. Unfortunately, if you see them in the wild, you are not facing a ninjas deck. You are facing every hasty creature known to man. You are seeing the Goblin Rabble Masters. You're seeing the Urabrask's Forge, anything that like makes a token and gives it haste and it entered the battlefield that turn. Like that's usually the deck that this is built as. Me personally, I am a air quotes purist and I am playing rogues and ninjas. So it's not like as good as it could be, but they do very greatly elevate ninjas because every time they deal combat damage, I'm making a fucking 5/5 dragon spirit creature token with flying, and if I've done my job correctly, I'm putting 15 power on the board with wings every turn. And that's really fucking hard to get out from under. So, Gorogoro and Satoru, I absolutely adore you. You are loud pack. Holy shit. This is an extremely fucking strong Magic the Gathering card, and even in the context of the deck that I have built with it, like, I'm just... answer my dragons. That's a pretty difficult proposition for a lot of gamers. I played against one of these actually, and they had like 1 or 2 ninjas, but the majority of the deck was just the like hasty token guys, and I'm just like looking at the 15 power that they create every turn, just like, is this what I'm doing to people? Fuck, dude, how do I get out from under this? What am I supposed to do here? The answer is kill Gorogoro and Satoru, but because they're so fucking cheap, it's very easy to recast that, and the deck is already set up to generate that token and get in there for combat damage that turn. Also, it's got the button to give your guys fucking haste right on the card, so even if you do blow them up, they can recast them, give them haste, and with them themselves get in there for combat damage and generate a 5/5 flyer. Like, you're fucking dead, kiddo. So yeah, Gorogoro and Satoru. I brand the Loud Pack. Very strong Magic the Gathering card. Congratulations. Up next, we're looking at Missy from the Doctor Who set. She is 3 in Grixis for a legendary creature, Time Lord Rogue, and whenever another non-artifact creature dies, return it to the battlefield under your control tapped, face down and tapped. It's a 2/2 Cyberman artifact creature. At the beginning of your end step, each opponent faces a villainous choice. Each artifact creature you control deals 1 damage to that opponent, or you draw a card and chaos ensues. This card is so much stronger in the context of Plane Chase, and I have only played her as a Plane Chase commander once, but the villainous choice there at the bottom actually has a lot more meaning if Chaos Ensuing actually does something. Otherwise, unless you're putting in a lot of effort to kill your opponent's non-artifact creatures, or like have free sacrifice outlets or whatever that you're using to make your creatures die and return them as Cybermen. A lot of opponents just don't give a fuck about that last line of text there. They'll take the damage and you don't get to draw cards and chaos doesn't ensue. Or if you do have a wide board, then they just like, okay, cool, enjoy your Phyrexian Arena, draw a card. And if you're not playing Plane Chase, then that's where it ends. She has the potential to be very strong if you are a combos gamer and lean into the morph cards that have I think like a sacrifice as a cost to flip a thing up. You can, I forget what exactly the line is, but there's a morph card that deals damage when it flips up. There's other stuff that you can do. And then she's a combo engine, but that takes a couple of steps and hoops to jump through. And frankly, I don't know that it's worth the effort. So yeah, I think Missy, I had a lot of fun playing you as the commander of the Grixis Doctor Who precon, but you do take a lot of effort and setup for a payoff that is admittedly pretty mid, and you cost 6 fucking mana. So I think that maybe puts you even below mid, because you're just not serving the level of redacted that the other people are. I think, Missy, I'm gonna put you in Reggie, and make no mistake, Reggie's fine. You can smoke Reggie. We're not shaming that at all. But you're simply not serving the level of redacted that the rest of these people are. I'm gonna put you there. Congratulations. Alright, up next we've got the Cult of Skaro. Who's next? Cult of Skaro, that's who's next. I love these Daleks in the show, they're very funny. A lot of Daleks are like not allowed to have personalities or names, but these 4 get that because their job is to be fucking weirdos. Whomst? You don't know about the Cult of Skaro, dude? They are from the Grixis Doctor Who precon, of course, hence the creature type Dalek. That's the only place that shit shows up. Legendary artifact creature, Dalek, for 1 in Grixis. Whenever Cult of Skaro attacks, choose 1 at random. Put a +1/+1 counter on each artifact creature you control. Draw 2 cards. Make a 3/3 black Dalek artifact creature token with menace, or each opponent loses 4 life. I had a lot of fun putting this as the commander of the Grixis Doctor Who precon. The deck has a lot of like robots in the 99 with Daleks and Cybermen and things like that. So the potential to +1/+1 counters on a wide board and then have everybody be swinging out for damage is pretty powerful. The thing that limits this is 1, it has to be on an attack, and 2, you select at random. So there's no like a specific mode that you can be building around. You can't guarantee that you're going to have card advantage when you want it or have a Dalek when you want it. It is a very powerful package of abilities, but not having control over which one you get is an extremely limiting factor. And because of that, I think that these guys are mids. I think they're above Missy because they come down sooner and can start having an impact quite a bit sooner than she does, with quite a bit less required setup. But again, just not having the level of control over what you need here to pick the mode that you're looking for, and having to attack, so you're sending your guy into the red zone, and that's a consideration that you have to make. And like, they're a 4/4, they can withstand quite a bit, like that's ferocious, but it is a risk, and that is a thing that you have to take into consideration. Cards that don't have to attack are just going to like get rated higher probably, because they don't require additional investment to ensure that you can repeatably get your value. So yeah, Cult of Skaro, I brand the mids. Alright, up next we've got everybody's favorite Grixis mean girl, Azula. This girl. The Fire Lord Azula, 1 in Grixis, legendary creature, human noble. She's got Firebending 2, and whenever you cast a spell while Fire Lord Azula is attacking, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. And she's a 4/4. Alright, so here's the deal. You do have to attack with Azula to get her value, but she's kind of paying that off with her Firebending 2, so there's your fucking... She's in the domain of the gods now. Yeah, kind of. Man, what a strong Magic the Gathering card. There are a lot of people on the internet who are of the opinion that if Fire Lord Azula gets to attack, you lose the game. And frankly, I don't think that they're wrong. If you have the cards in hand to get a couple of spell casts off while she's attacking, you can set yourself up so that unless they have a board wipe or an answer for your storm turn right then they just lose. Thank you, Mass Lost, for the happy affiliate anniversary wishes. It's greatly appreciated. Shit, dude, she's number 19 on EDH Rec. That is quite the lofty status for her. But yeah, she's even if you smoke mids with your deck construction and build it primarily around creatures that say flash on them, or have cards like the Buster Sword or Key to the Vault, and that's the way that you're casting spells via combat, she's still serving just so much fucking redacted that even if you're like my board full of Fairy Masterminds and the what is that adventure fairy? Brazen Borrower. Like, getting 2 Brazen Borrowers, that's 2 flying 3/1s. The Fairy Mastermind doubling the level of card draw that you get. Honestly, you could just build her as a Grixis Fairies with Flash deck, and you would still be serving entirely too much redacted for this to be anything but top shelf. She's just so strong, bro. Free spells are so fucking good. It's impossible to put her anywhere but that. Like, I gotta show respect to the Grixis mean girl. The Grixis mean girl. So yeah, Fire Lord Azula, we don't even have to spend that much time litigating you. We know exactly where you belong, baby girl. Top shelf. Alright, up next we've got the... What is this guy's name? Davros, right, okay. Davros, Dalek creator. He's 1 in Grixis for a legendary artifact creature, alien scientist. He's got menace, and at the beginning of your end step, make a 3/3 black Dalek artifact creature token with menace if an opponent lost 3 or more life this turn. Then, each opponent who lost 3 or more life this turn faces a villainous choice. You draw a card, or that player discards a card. I've played this guy in a couple different contexts, actually. First as the commander of the Grixis Doctor Who Precon, and secondly, he did a little bit of time as the commander of Grixis Chandras. And both of those were very good spots for him. I think he's actually a really funny Chandra's commander because with her burn damage, you can definitely make sure that your opponents lose 3 life. And generating those Dalek tokens is a good way to protect your Chandras. Then in the 99 of that deck, because the commander's always been something that cares about discard, whether it's Crosis or Kefka or Davros, the waste knots and the Megrims and the things like that in the 99 that I have, they're always going to find their value. But I think primarily as the commander of the Doctor Who precon, dude was pretty good. He is a 3/4 with Menace, so he enables the villainous choice if you get in there for combat damage and attack with him. But other than that, if you're like doing the burn damage thing, then that's another good way to ensure that you get that. I think that Davros Dalek Creator is pretty good, but ultimately probably mid. Like, he's fine. Not going to scare the host putting that in the command zone. Definitely not as strong as a lot of the other guys you were seeing in tiers above him. So yeah, back on the tier list page here, I think Davros Dalek Creator is a solid mids. Alright, up next we've got Don Andres the Renegade. This guy is 1 in Grixis for a legendary creature vampire pirate, and each creature you control but don't own gets +2/+2, has menace and death touch, and is a pirate in addition to its other types. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell you don't own, make 2 tapped treasure tokens, and he's a 4/3. Hang on. Okay, no, we're fine. Okay, Don Andres, man. He's a pretty strong Magic the Gathering card, but he doesn't do any of the spell theft things on his own. You have to provide the engines and he does all of the payoff for you. He doesn't do any of the setup. Whereas cards like Adea Possessed Sorceress does the setup and the payoff for you. And other cards that we've talked about previously have all of that on the card. I do think that making those guys that you steal into pirates and giving them those keywords and the +2/+2 is very strong. He is a win condition in the Grixis Spell Theft deck. Like, I slammed this guy down and he does a pretty good Craterhoof impression. And casting the stolen non-creature spells, making tapped treasure tokens so that you can cast more stolen spells. I think that all of that is pretty strong, but ultimately Bro is requiring quite a bit of setup, and he's the payoff. I don't think that he's like top shelf material, and doesn't feel like Loud Pack when I put him in the command zone. I'm not sure if other, like, Cole, does this guy look like Loud Pack to you? Are you fucking scared if I put him in the command zone? Nah, yeah, I didn't think so. Yeah, I think that Don Andres the Renegade is a very cool Magic the Gathering. This dude isn't shivering my timber. Oh, that's good. Yeah, he's fine. He's not shivering anybody's timbers, though. So I think we are going to put him in mids. I think he's a very cool Magic the Gathering card, but you're definitely not going to scare the host if you put him in the command zone. Bro is solid mids. Alright, up next we've got Marchesa, Dealer of Death. And there's like 8 cards that say Marchesa on them, of course. There she is. Alright, Marchesa, Dealer of Death. For Grixis, she's a legendary creature human rogue, and whenever you commit a crime, you may pay 1. If you do, look at the top 2 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand and the other into your graveyard. And she's a 3/4. I think that this card is a very strong card advantage engine, especially if you were doing what you were supposed to be doing with what the text is telling you to do here, and that's play control. Don Quixote over here is offering you to make Menace and Death Touch hold hands. This is true. Menace Death Touch is a very strong set of keywords. In order to get that on your guys, though, you gotta fucking steal them, and that's, he's requiring levels of setup that are not required by the rest of these gamers. So yeah, Marchesa, Dealer of Death, she's asking you to play a pretty hard control deck, and if you do that, you will be rewarded greatly. She's turning all of your Doom Blades into card positive, and you get to select, so you can set up your graveyard for, I don't know, Reanimation, or a Mizzix's Mastery, or whatever you have. I have built her a... Okay, hang on. This fucking playlist is playing the card. We gotta change that. What's going on here? Okay, there we go. Alright, yeah, Marchesa, Dealer of Death. Control deck that makes all of your removal spells card neutral. That's pretty fucking strong. The things that I've built with her, though, we did Art Typal, and we did Mystical Archive Control, and have we done anything else with Marchesa? I don't think so. Yeah, I think that's it. And how was she performed in both of those? I think in Art Typal she did pretty good because that deck is a... Oh, no, she was also the commander of the 2023 Grixis mid-range deck where I ported the standard deck to EDH, which, like, that's also a pretty hard control deck. So yeah, in any of those cases, I'm casting removal spells and turning them into card neutral by paying one. In the Mystical Archive control deck, though, I cannot fucking explain it. She's done stone nothing. So I cut her from that deck and put Kess in the command zone instead. And Kess we actually used. You can cast spells from your graveyard with that, and getting 2 uses out of your removal spells was way more powerful than whatever Marchesa was offering for me in that deck. She was also... Okay, so the Art Typal, she did alright because that deck has a lot of bad cards that have eyes on them, and putting more cards into my hand that have eyes on them is what we need. So we'll take that. And then the 2023 Grixis midrange with Invoke Despair and Fable of the Mirror Breaker. The deck is crimes all the way down, and she draws me into another removal spell that I've plucked from the 2023 standard metagame. All of that was very cool and impactful, but she was fucking trash in Mystical Archive control, and I cannot explain it. I think that's definitely going to bring my opinion of her down a bit. She has the potential to be extremely fucking powerful. I think could be loud pack in other builds. But the... like... with 2023 Grixis midrange, I think that one is loud pack. The Mystical Archive control and is mids, and Art Typal is Reggie for Sherzies. I think that Marchesa is going to balance out to mids in that case. And maybe if we built around her more with the intention to get these crimes triggers off, she could be loud pack or even top shelf, but she simply was not in the builds that I have. And for that, yeah, Marchesa, I stamp the mids. Up next, we have one of my favorite Grixis commanders ever, Inala Archmage Ritualist. We play the secret layer drop printing of that card since that got released, but before that we were on the regular, like, Commander 2017 printing. Was really glad to get a bling printing of her for my CEDH deck. Yeah, let's read the card. She's a 2 in Grixis, but that doesn't matter because I'm never casting her. For a legendary creature, human wizard, and she's got Eminence. Whenever another non-token wizard you control enters, if Inala's in the command zone or on the battlefield, you may pay 1. If you do create a token that's a copy of that wizard, the token gains haste, exile it at the beginning of the next end step, and you can tap 5 untapped wizards you control to have target player lose 7 life. I am just so fucking enamored of this card and the play patterns that it enables. I know too much to play her outside of CEDH though. The first time that I ever saw this card was in the context of the Spellseeker combo deck, where you play the Spellseeker and through a complex chain of tutors and rituals, you move cards in between your graveyard and the battlefield, printing out a bunch of wizards, and ultimately ending the game with a bunch of hasty Scholar of the Ages Shadow Clones. And as much mana and spellcast triggers as you want. I can never put her anywhere but top shelf, and even if I was looking to play this in casual, I think she would still be a very strong commander, because there's so many wizards that enter the battlefield and do card advantage or removal or effects that win you the game, like the Direfleet Ravager. Like, if I was going to build this in casual, it would absolutely be a Direfleet Ravager speedrun, and I would just be looking to make as many token copies of that guy as possible to fucking shred life totals and then kill you with hasty Ravagers. So yeah, I cannot be trusted outside of CDH with Inala, and as such, I am putting her in the top shelf. There was never any doubt of that. She just serves so much Redacted. Truly one of the coolest Magic the Gathering cards that they've ever printed, IMO, and we're gonna rate her accordingly. So yeah, Inala, Archmage Ritualist, I brand the top shelf. Congratulations. All right, up next we're looking at Warhammer Girly. Whatever, dude. I never know if it's 2 Bs or 2 Ds. There we go, Abaddon the Despoiler. For 2 in Grixis, he's a legendary creature, Astartes Warrior. He's got Trample and Mark of Chaos Ascendant. During your turn, spells you cast from your hand with mana value X or less have Cascade, where X is the total amount of life your opponents have lost this turn. And he's a 5/5, so like off-rip, 5/5 with Trample, fucking sick. Love to see it. But the making your opponents lose life and then giving your spells that you cast from your hand Cascade is extremely fucking strong. Yeah, he's like Azula, but a little less fucked up. I have seen builds of Abaddon that's just fucking gutter snipes and instants and sorceries that draw you into the next gutter snipe, and they all have Cascade, and my goodness. What a strong Magic the Gathering card. Also pairs very well with things like Descent into Avernus, or that guy Creeping Bloodsucker, or just like anything that's doing damage on your upkeep, like the, what is that, Court from Eldraine, the black mana one. Court of Ambition, there we go, yeah. Where you either make your opponents discard or take 3, and you're just like, fucking, if I sneeze, I'm giving my spells Cascade, and free spells are extremely fucking good. And he's got the 5/5 power and the trample to enable all of that himself, even if you don't have any of the burn pieces. Bro is serving mad Redacted, putting out free spells, and just like, he's fucking bringing it. I have played him as the commander of the Grixis Chaos Precon, and ultimately ended up putting this guy in the 99. Lots of creeping blood around here these days. Is struck by a hammer labeled cannon. Yup. Get her ass. Alright, yeah, man, Abaddon the Despoiler is so fucking strong. I think that there's like not a universe where this guy is anywhere below mids. He's loud pack for surezies. I don't think he's top shelf because he's not putting out the same level of value as all of these guys, but man, he is serving redacted and we will show respect accordingly. Abaddon the Despoiler, I brand the loud pack. Congratulations. Alright, up next we have everybody's favorite evil clown, Kefka, Court Mage. And we gotta make sure we give the Amano art because holy shit. What an incredible looking card. And he transforms in... Oh no! Etria is like, I had to walk in on this guy. Well, hello Etria. Thank you so much for coming through. And yeah, this is a very perfect time for you to show up because you and I both love this guy. What an incredible Magic the Gathering card. Kefka, Court Mage for 2 in Grixis, legendary creature, human wizard. Whenever Kefka enters or attacks, each player discards a card. Then you draw a card for each card type among cards discarded this way. Me and this clown have an immense amount of history. Cole's like, loud, top shelf. Yeah, he's so fucking strong. Yeah, you can spend 8 mana to have each opponent sacrifice a permanent of their choice and transform Kefka, activate only as a sorcery. And we push this button and get Kefka, Ruler of Ruin, a flying legendary creature avatar wizard who's a 5/7, and whenever an opponent loses life during your turn, you draw that many cards. I have pushed that button a grand total of 1 time. And I'm pretty sure he died immediately after that because the gamers were, because they can fucking read. But for the most part, I genuinely think that transforming into Kefka Ruler of Ruin is a distraction. I think you were supposed to just leave him on this side and just enter the battlefield and attack and shred your opponent's hands and keep your hand full. And just, you can win the game like that. You never need the 5/7 flyer. And yeah, you're right. Turns out Titan Text plus Disinformation Campaign is good. Favorite. The only thing Kefka's my favorite clown at is dying. Oh, light. Yeah, the gamers in the chat fucking hate this guy. He sucks. And they're right. I have Kefka as the commander of a couple of decks. He's primarily the commander of my Grixis Chandra's deck, and oh, Emo Chicken says, time to take a break from the Logitech support and zone out to Quinn building jank, or else I'm going to crash out on the support and their bad software. Emo Chicken, today we are not building anything. Today we are ranking all of the commanders in Grixis that I've ever built or played in the context of the deck that we built or played with them. And currently we are on Kefka Court Mage, who is the commander of my Grixis Chandra's deck, and also the commander of my Grixis Madness deck. That used to be helmed by Armix Filigree Thrasher and Crom Ludovic's Opus, but the fact of the matter is putting all of the things of Armix and Crom onto the same card is just stronger. And so yeah, he's a better commander for Madness. And I think that fits in very well with his whole deal. He is just fucking insane. He is not okay. There's a part in Final Fantasy VI where he loses this item called a Peace Ring, which prevents, I think, the Berserk status. And after that, the level of fucked upness that Kefka aspires to is so much higher. I think it is just an incredible piece of storytelling, and the way that they translated that guy in the game to this guy in the Magic the Gathering is very cool. I have to applaud them. They really designed their fucking asses off with the Final Fantasy set, and Kefka is, to me, the peak of that. And he's got this sick Amano art. Thank you so much. If Grixis ever had a better stacks commander, it would be this guy. Yeah, this guy is fucking incredible. You don't even need to run stacks pieces. Your blink effects are your stacks cards. Yeah, exactly. The role that Armix was playing in the Grixis Madness deck that I now play as Kefka was as removal, and he just does that, like, except it's proactive. I don't have to wait until the thing hits the battlefield to kill it with Armix. I can just make you discard it with Kefka. So yeah, Kefka Court Mage. We all knew there was not a universe where this guy was going to be anything but top shelf, so I think we can just go ahead and put him up there. Maybe one day I'll activate the 8 button and transform to Kefka Ruler of Ruin, because like the gamer who played my Grixis Chandra's deck one time told me about, they flipped Kefka into Ruler of Ruin and then turned all of my medium Chandras that have the like +2 to deal 1 damage to each opponent into draw 3 cards in addition to that. Like, that's really fucking cool. So yeah, maybe one day we'll experience that for ourselves, but I just like, there's no need to so far. I'm just gonna keep drawing cards and shredding your hands with the front half. Etria says, I take immeasurable pleasure in watching the light die in everyone's eyes when I resolve a Displacer Kitten with him. Yeah, you can pretty much concede there. If there's a Kefka and a Displacer Kitten, you don't need to keep playing that game, it's fine. I don't know if Kitten is like game changer worthy, but I definitely don't fucking play it, so maybe it is. That is a strong Magic the Gathering card. An emo chicken says, I wish there were more cards that say cards can't transform. I believe it's only Immerwolf for werewolves. Yeah, I think so. But yeah, being able to limit the ability of Kefka or other cards to transform is probably a pretty strong effect, considering that a lot of people who have cards that can transform and build around being able to transform them. I think if there's an effect, you should be able to stacks it. Alright, let's go ahead and give the clown his due. Kefka, Court Mage, we are putting your ass in the top shelf. There's no universe where you are anything other than that. Moon Mist, transform all humans, prevent combat damage that would be dealt this turn by creatures other than wolves or werewolves. Oh, yeah, you can't play Moon Mist in Kefka because he's a Grixis card and Moon Mist is green. Yeah, if you want to hack the transformation and make that easier, you gotta jump through a bunch of fucking hoops with like a cheaper transform card and fuck-ass Agatha's Soul Cauldron. That card jumped in price because of Avatar Aang, believe it or not. No, yeah, I get it. I have tried to flip Avatar Aang. It requires a lot of doing, especially considering how few airbenders there are, and it is a lot easier to just Mystical Tutor, find Moon Mist, cast Moon Mist, flip Aang, and then win the game. Alright, let us move on to Be'lakor. Alright, Be'lakor, the Dark Master. For 3 in Grixis, you get a legendary creature, Demon Noble, with flying, and whenever Be'lakor enters, you draw X cards and lose X life, where X is the number of demons you control. And whenever another demon you control enters, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. Oh, Light still wants to build Be'lakor plus Gyruda. I think I've seen that deck. That's pretty powerful. The deck that I did see, though, was a sweaty combo deck with a Displacer Kitten and free spells to blink Be'lakor and draw your deck that way, so saws babes. And then once you're done blinking Be'lakor, you can translate to, or you can switch to blinking Gyruda and just shred everybody's libraries. Yeah, you have a Be'lakor in your meta at Etria. I am also making people answer a Be'lakor in my meta, except mine is the Grixis precon from Warhammer with changes to remove a lot of the bullshit Cascade cards and put in more demons and a greater thirst for blood. So, yeah. I think that this card is so fucking powerful. Demons are very expensive, but they have a lot of tools to make them a lot cheaper now. And this deck actually in particular went a long way to making Demon Typal much more playable, and I really appreciate that from him. He's also in Grixis, so he's got all of the good colors for demons and the mana and the colors to protect your demons with like either blink spells or counter magic. And then the like thirst for blood in Rakdos, it's fucking perfect. I absolutely adore this card and the deck that we built around it. And I think that Be'lakor is a really strong Magic the Gathering card. I think that we are gonna rate him in the loud pack because Demon Typal is very strong and he's got the card advantage and the burn damage on the card himself. And it's just good. It's just good. Be'lakor, I dubbed the loud pack. Congratulations. Alright, it's Pirates time. Admiral Brass. Unsinkable. And we have the coin printing. Yeah, this art's very cool. Love that. Alright, so Admiral Brass, Unsinkable, legendary creature, human pirate. And when Admiral Brass enters, mill 4 cards. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may return a pirate creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. It has base power toughness 4/4. It gains haste until end of turn. And she's a 3/3. So this is basically card advantage and ramp on the same card. Osaka 5 stream streak Etria? Hell yeah, thank you. Yeah, rating Admiral Brass, I don't know, dude. Basically, cool. You have a graded Beckett Brass, nice. So yeah, Admiral Brass, Unsinkable. I think we're gonna like the deck that we have with her is the Grixis Pirates Precon from Lost Caverns of Ixalan Commander. And the thing that she does is basically just like enable more pirating when you pirate. Um, I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, she enters the battlefield, mills 4 cards, and then you drag a pirate back from the grave, and you make it a 4/4 and give it haste. And then the finality counter on it, we all know is barely a downside because you're running cards like Nesting Ground, you're running cards like Power Conduit, you're running cards like whatever else moves counters around. So the finality counter is like barely a downside, it's not real. Additionally, you only ever need the one reuse of a card. Games are probably not going long enough for you to multiple reuse that unless you're forcing the issue yourself. And if you're forcing the issue yourself, you're probably not playing a card like Admiral Brass. You're playing something that's better suited to playing the long game. These pirates just want to be aggro and turn their guys sideways and play like a mid-range typal combat game plan. And I think she's a really strong enabler for that. Turning all of your shitty little 1/2s and 2/1s into 4/4s is not nothing, especially if the guys are like Malcolm and they have flying or whatever. It's a pretty strong force multiplier. I think that she did some good things for Pirate Typal. So I think we are gonna rate Admiral Brass as a solid mids. She is absolutely not scaring the hoes, but she's definitely coming out with a competent game plan and serving Redacted. Congratulations, Admiral Brass. I dub thee mids. All right, up next we've got another precon commander. It's Mishra, Eminent One. This guy for 2 in Grixis is a legendary creature human artificer, and at the beginning of combat on your turn, create a token that's a copy of target non-artifact creature you control, except its name is Mishra's Warform, and it's a 4/4 construct artifact creature token in addition to its other types. It gains haste until end of turn, and sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. And he's a 5/4. This guy has so much combo potential, it's extremely fucking frustrating. But right out of the box, comparing Mishra to his brother Urza is like, man, I have to jump through all these hoops and I don't even get to keep my war form. It's really, I'm looking across the table at my brother who is printing out these fucking constructs that are scaling with the size of their board, and they get to just keep those and I have to sacrifice my war form at the end step. Like, what the fuck? It's a little tilting. Mishra did kind of get shafted, which is why you see a lot of people look at that and lean into the combo potential of Mishra, because, like, look at what Ursa's getting away with. Like, what else am I supposed to do? So yeah, you take your, whatchamacallit that makes extra turns, or whatchamacallit that gives you the, essentially Teferi's protection. Okay, it's the Gaunty's Either Heart that you can use to take extra turns, and the Stasis Coffin that you can use to essentially give yourself a Teferi's protection every turn. There's other stuff that you can do with Mishra that will also give you the same sort of situation where you're untouchable until you win the game. But those are the ones that are top of mind. And it's honestly really hard to fault them for playing like that because Urza's like serving so much redacted. But this guy wants you to jump through quite a few hoops, and then his payoff you have to sacrifice at the end of your turn. I think that significantly limits his power out of the box. And the context that we played Mishra Eminent One in was just the pre-con. So yeah, I'm thinking that he's not like... He's not particularly loud pack, he's definitely not top shelf, but he's quite a bit better than Reggie or Schwag, and that leaves him mids. So Mishra Eminent One, I think you were serving solid mids, and that is okay. So yeah, we'll drag you over here. Mishra Eminent One, I dub thee mids. Congratulations. Up next we have... all the fucking way from Cold Snap, Garza Zol, Plague Queen. Literally no one is playing this but me. People are joking about this card in terms of cards that no one plays, and I'm like, actually, I play Garza Zol, she's really cool. Yeah, she is a 7 mana, 4 in Grixis, legendary creature, vampire noble, flying, haste. Whenever a creature dealt combat damage by Garzazol dies this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Garzazol. And whenever Garzazol deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. And she's a 5/5. I think flying and haste are really fucking cool, but the main thing that she's doing is heading a deck that's full of big mana Grixis vampires. So my 99 is just fucking card advantage, ramp, and then haymaker vampires. Oh, and Dominus looks in the chat, damn, Tariel brings more than this. The definition of bracket 1 theme deck. Sorry, not sorry, no! Oh, man. Yeah, she is, in terms of Magic the Gathering cards in 2026, just straight up not very strong. And that's okay, because I am a fucking hipster, and this bad bitch in my command zone is there so that I can flex on people who aren't playing cards from Cold Snap. I got the vampire deck box right here. Let me just show off my fucking Cold Snap foil, bitch. You know what the fuck is up? I'm serious about this shit. Yeah, I love Garzazol. I think that she is probably not very beloved among other people. Taria's definitely miles of. Oh man. All this Garzazol slander in the chat. She's perfect to me. But yeah, Garzazol Plague Queen, you are my beloved, but in terms of actual card power, probably pretty fucking mid, and maybe even Reggie, because you're 7 mana for like an Ophidian, and the text of whenever the thing is dealt damage, put a +1/+1 counter on her. Like that doesn't happen because nobody else has flying hasty creatures that they're blocking with. Or not hasty, that's not relevant, but like nobody else is blocking Garzazol. Like you're gonna just get 5 every turn. And the opponents are just not concerned about it at all because she's 7 mana. Like that's not getting recast unless you've ramped into the sun, which I do in that deck so that I can recast her. But she's just so not the best. There are definitely better cards that I could be playing for big mana Grixis vampires, but I think that Garzazol has unparalleled levels of swag, and that's why I play her. So, Garzazol, my dear, in the context of the deck that I am playing, I am rating you Reggie. Congratulations. Alright, let's look at Cedrus, the Traitor King. And check this shit out. What do you mean at least my hipster commander has modern applications? Bro, she has modern applications. She's a 5/5 flyer. Is that not good enough for you these days? uh, oh man. Hannah Ship's Navigator can loop a stasis, thank you. Alright, okay, alright. Okay. Let's take a look at Cedrus the Traitor King. Oh hey, Crawfish Cigarette, thank you so much for coming through and for the happy affiliate anniversary wishes. Alright, let's lock back in. Cedrus the Traitor King. We'll leave Garzazol in the Reggie tier where she belongs. Cedrus is 3 in Grixis for a legendary creature, Zombie Warrior, and each creature card in your graveyard has Unearth for 2 and a black. He's also a 5/5. Hello, Trivial Encounters. Thanks so much for coming through. Let's look at mids to smoke. Yeah, a lot of these cards are pretty mid, hence the mid section of the my tier list. Yeah, we are ranking my Grixis commanders in the tiers of top shelf, loud pack, mids, Reggie, or swag. And as you can see, we are doing the very normal distribution of a couple cards in top shelf, loud pack, a lot of cards in mids, a couple cards in Reggie, and we haven't hit anybody that's swag yet, but I guarantee you we will before the stream is over. Alright, back to Cedrus. The power level of this guy is, man, he was serving Mad Redacted back in Alara. These days, you have to put in quite a bit of effort to make this worthwhile, but if you do, he has still got it. I have a very cool Cedrus the Traitor King deck that has the... you know how the, like, Mael of the Anima deck does the thing where they have, like, 99, or not like 99, but they have, like, a sideboard of larges that they shovel into the deck at random, and they don't know what they're, like, flipping off the top until they flip it off the top. We're playing basically that play pattern, but we're doing it in Grixis, and we're doing it with the Sphinxes, Demons, and Dragons. So my build of this deck has 25 placeholder copies of the card Crawworm, and every time we draw or mill or otherwise reveal a Crawworm, we set that guy to the side and we draw a guy from my pile of Forever Friends, which has 69 Sphinxes, Demons, and Dragons. How are we gonna rate Cedrus? He is asking you to, first off, cast a 6 mana guy, and after that, spend 3 more mana to unearth guys. So he's doing quite a bit there and asks kind of a lot of you. And Etria says, what upsets me about Cedrus is that he can't run Meticulous Excavation. Alright, let me fucking... What does this shit do? Oh, okay. Return target permanent you control to its owner's hand. If it has unearth, instead exile it, then return it to its owner's hand. Activate only during your turn. Gotcha. It's the card that they built specifically to cheat unearth cards. Well, the good news is you can... You can play Conjurer's Closet. You can play Displacer Kitten. You can play any of the blink spells. You can also play our girl, Obeka, Brute Chronologist. She is actually the inciting incident for me. I had... yeah, exactly. Etria, why are you sad about Meticulous Excavation? You have Displacer Kitten. Oh, Meticulous Excavation also cheats finality counters. Yeah, that's cool. Alright, so anyway, yeah. Obeka, Brute Chronologist, she released in Commander Legends and has the text of Sundial of the Infinite. You tap her, and the player whose turn it is may end the turn. I read this and then thought about all of the ways that you can cheat things that happen on your end step, and the biggest thing that I landed on was Unearth. And then I did some further digging, and this is pretty close to when I started playing Magic the Gathering, actually, so I didn't know about Cedrus yet. So in looking through cards that would play well with Obeka, we found Cedrus. And we were planning to play Obeka in the command zone, but ultimately decided that we would rather have the setup rather than the payoff in the command zone. And Cedrus is the setup. He's the guy that gives your guys Unearth, he puts them onto the battlefield, and then you find Sundial Bay in the 99 and you activate her to turn off the downsides. So the thing that we did was build the Cedrus the Traitor King commander deck and put Obeka in the 99. Final Fortune was your idea, to the surprise of absolutely no one. Yeah, of course. People who build Obeka do the thing where they do the, what is that fucking magic wand called? Isochron Scepter, right. They put one of those extra turn spells underneath that, and then you have Obeka, Brute Chronologist, and then you can take infinite turns in Grixis, and you win the game from there, whatever. But yeah, that's not what we were doing. We played Cedrus the Traitor King, and we put a bunch of other things with downsides on end step that we could... not that magic wand, although, Light, I assure you, we are familiar with their work. So yeah, Cedrus the Traitor King was a very cool enabler for my game plan. I reanimate my Sphinxes, Demons, and Dragons. We have Time Stops, we have Stifles, we have Sundial Bay, and all of those to turn off those downsides. It's a very cool Grixis Reanimator deck, and it still serves Redacted to this day. I think that Cedrus is gonna be a... No, Light, nobody needs you to explain the joke. We are all familiar with the work of that particular electronics manufacturer. Anyway, Cedrus, I think we are going to put him in mids. He is giving you a very large flaming hoop to jump through, and if you jump through it, you're going to have a good time, but that hoop is on fire. So let's get his ass in the mid section. Thank you so much, Cedrus, for your service. May you continue to serve Redacted. Dude, F Academy Manufacturer. I do hate that card. Yeah. Why did they do that? Alright, who's up next? That's our girl Cass, Dissonant Mage. Cass Dissonant Mage is, no, not that printing. Modern Horizons. That's the one that I like. I don't know, this has got the nice set symbol. She also has a secret layer printing, but this one doesn't speak to me as strongly as her original art. There's something about the, like, floating orbs of, like, either potions or whatever, and then just, like, she's not touching the ground. She's too good for that. Yeah, the double Master Cedrus art looks very good. He is serving Mad Redacted. Alright, so cast Dissonant Mage, 1 Grixis, legendary creature, human wizard, flying, and once during each of your turns you may cast an instant or sorcery spell from your graveyard. If a spell cast this way would be put into your graveyard, exile it instead, and choose a 3/4. I built this to abuse this interaction with spells that exile themselves already, but do it in a way that is valuable to you. One of the ways that you can do that is with adventure spells, casting those from your graveyard and then sending the creature on an adventure into exile. The game is just asking, did that spell go to exile? And you can say, sure did, boss. The other thing that you can do with casts is play spells that say Cipher on them. Like Writ of Return. You can return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped, and then Cipher says, then you may exile this spell card encoded on a creature you control. Whenever that creature deals combat damage to a player, its controller may cast a copy of the encoded card without paying its mana cost. So because you were exiling this during the resolution of that spell, the game is like, alright, send that spell to exile, and you get to say, sure did, boss. And they're not asking further questions about that. So the things that we do with Kess is to, other tab here. This is a deck built around a very particular Cipher spell, Whispering Madness. This shit is a Windfall with Cipher, so I can cast that, make everybody Windfall, encode it on Kess, deal combat damage with her, cast it again, and at that point everybody is sick of my bullshit and they remove Kess, but that's fine because we've already done all of the setup that we needed to do. And then I get to cast Kess again and I can find any of the other Cipher spells in my graveyard or any of the other things that we wanted to give flashback with her ability and cast those again. The other thing that the deck does is Theft Reanimator, so I am putting all of these creatures into your graveyard and I am bringing them back out with cards like Dredge the Mire or, just like straight up Reanimate works too. But yeah, I am putting the cards into the graveyard via wheels and then using them for my own nefarious purposes. And Cass is an incredible enabler of that because she is here to provide me that air quotes card advantage. And Etria, of course, is telling us about the much sweatier game plan typically associated with Kess, where she is literally just double Demonic Tutor for an A+B combo. Yeah, the other thing that you can do is if you're a Sweat Lord, cast the one of the Forbidden Tutors and find your Thassa's Oracle, and then cast the Thoracle, and then recast your Forbidden Tutor from the graveyard using Kess's ability. Done and dusted, GG's. You don't have to do that though. You can have a little bit of sauce with it. And that's what I was doing here, playing Grixis Cipher. Cipher is not good, dude. Don't do it unless you're into doing trick shots. Because that's basically what that deck is. Yeah, you're styling on it. But that's my opinions on Castus and Mage. Where do we rate her is the question. She has the potential to be so much stronger than the way that I am playing her. It is kind of hard to ignore that, and she does have a little bit of a reputation, so even though I am playing Cipher Typal, she's probably getting treated like she's Loud Pack. I think that's where we gotta put her. She's just serving so much Redacted. Getting 2 bites at any of your spells is like pretty fucking strong, and not a lot of people offer that. So I think, yeah, cast Dissonant Mage, I dub the Loud Pack. Congratulations. And then Etria says, I feel bad because the most powerful Grixis deck is not even a single commander, but a partner combo. I don't want to hear about that fucking kobold. That guy was supposed to just be a very funny equipment commander. You take advantage of all of his really cool keywords, and everybody had to ruin it. And now you can't fucking cast Rograk without people side-eyeing you like, what are we doing here? Bro, I just wanted to put knives on a guy who was like Menace, First Strike, and Trample. That's a set of keywords, right? Yeah, First Strike, Menace, Trample. This is an incredible set of keywords. Why are you treating him like a Mox? Get this guy to the fucking armory! Why is he not holding every sort of X and Y? I'm mad about it. Damn, this etch foil printing is $26 per Scryfall? That's ridiculous. Alright, anyway. That's enough getting mad about that guy. Alright, who's up next? It's Cecily, Haunted Mage. Alright, so Cecily Haunted Mage is 1 in Grixis for a legendary creature, Human Wizard. Your maximum hand size is 11, and whenever Cecily Haunted Mage attacks, you draw a card and lose a life. Then, if you have 11 or more cards in your hand, you may cast an instant or sorcery spell from your hand without paying its mana cost. She's also got Partner, Friends Forever, and she's a 3/5. I am playing Cecily with the Boros partner, Sophina Spear Sage Deserter, and that is a deck that I call Sapphic Blue Farm Pirates because the deck was the Blue Farm colors, but the 2 girl commanders and the 99 was full of pirates and cards that said treasure on them. We basically turned all of those guys into the clues on attacks, and then used the artifact burn package to weaponize the clues in addition to just like drawing cards with them for card advantage. And then all of the treasures that the pirates make it easier to crack all of the clues. This deck unfortunately got outclassed by the Pirates Precon from Lost Caverns of Ixalan, so we just play that instead now. I don't have Sapphic Blue Farm Pirates anymore because I don't need it. The Precon was a better deck. But I do still have fond memories of those two together, and Cecily Haunted Mage I do still think is a very cool Magic the Gathering card. Being a 3/5 makes her very easy to attack with, and whenever you attack, you draw a card and lose a life, so you've got that Phyrexian Arena, and if by some fucking miracle you manage to get to 11 cards in hand, then yeah, you can cast a big spell, but I'm gonna keep it 100 with you, Chief, this is probably never happening, and that's okay. I think Cecily Haunted Mage is very easy to put in the mids section. She is not serving anything particularly powerful, but the just the Phyrexian Arena that you can attack with, I think that's fine. That's all right. So yeah, Cecily Haunted Mage. I dub the mids. All right, up next we've got a dragon. It's Croesus, the Purger, and we gotta make sure we choose the Graveborn printing. Because holy shit, look at that. The fucking skull set symbol, the fact that it's a foil by default, this is truly just like an incredible... Like, I reprint Premium Deck Series Graveborn, actually. My favorite printing of Inkwell Leviathan is from this set. They've got the Graveborn foil Reanimate and Entomb and Animate Dead. Like, bro, come on. You know what? Actually, reprint this, but give it a gold border. That's what I actually want. Anyway, that's enough fangirling about Graveborn. So yeah, Croesus the Purger, this fucking leech dragon. is 3 and Grixis for a legendary creature dragon. He's got flying. Whenever Crosis deals combat damage to a player, you can pay 2 and a black. If you do choose a color, then that player reveals their hand and discards all cards of that color. And he's a 6/6. Alright, so here's the deal. Crosis was the first commander of my Grixis Chandra's deck. I was looking for no, I think the actual origin story is I was posting about how people should play more of this cycle of dragon because I think that those cards are cool. And so I decided to put my deck building slots where my mouth is and build Crosis the Purger. And in the 99, we put all of the Chandras, and the theme of the deck was like, what if Chandra got access to blue and black mana through the mentorship of an evil dragon? No, not that one. Because if you say evil dragon, the one that people immediately think of first is Bolus, and no, it wasn't that one. We wanted to play Crosis the Purger. So, yeah. We put that in the command zone, and then we played a lot of games with Crosis there, and he's just didn't fucking do anything. He was a French vanilla 6/6. I was not attacking with this guy. We were not dealing combat damage. What if Chandra got access to blue mana? What then? Well, she would still go into my Grixis Chandra's deck. Because that's why we built it. An Etrius seen a healthy number of Crosis plus Painter's Servant nonsense. Yeah, that's an option. I was not interested in that particular play pattern, and Crosis ended up being a 6 mana card that basically said fucking nothing for what I wanted to do. And even if you're not doing that, I just like, this card is alright at best. I don't think it's particularly good. And so as the commander for the context of the deck that we built, I'm actually going to rate Crosis swag. Alright, who's up next? On Hello the Painter. Yeah, give me that widescreen. There we go. All right, Anilo the Painter. For Grixis, he's a legendary creature, vampire assassin with Death Touch, and the first instant or sorcery spell you cast each turn has Casualty 2. He's a 1/3. I really liked this guy as the commander of the Grixis Casualty deck from New Capenna Commander. He does have kind of a big ask, though. Casualty 2. When you look at the most recent printing of a legend with Casualty on it, they cut that in half and only ask Casualty 1 of you now. So I think the thing that you are doing with this guy primarily is generating like zombie tokens, because those are guaranteed 2/2s and they're very cheap. There's also the like Squee, the Immortals, and Jadar, Ghoulcaller of Nephalia, who will give you a 2/2 Decayed Zombie Creature token. You're just looking for like cards that are like that so that you can cast cards like Army of the Damned and fork those. And that feels really fucking good if you get to pull it off. But you do have to jump through a giant flaming hoop to accomplish any of that. And the deck that I played when I played it, it only ever felt mid. It was a lot of fun to play, don't get me wrong, but there were a lot more other things that we could be doing that felt a bit stronger. And it's the first instant or sorcery spell that you cast each turn, bro. Silver Quill does every spell! Every spell, and it is Casualty 1! Like, what the fuck? And Etcher says, again, I feel bad here because that entire cycle of dragons kind of almost invalidates other commanders with their respective abilities. Yeah, if you're looking to do specifically casualty in Grixis, then Anhelo's your guy. But if you just want to play casualty, then bro, sleeve up that Elder Dragon, please. It's so much stronger. Maybe you can, like, not scare the host by putting this in the command zone, but because you have blue, I think that people are going to assume that the first spell that you want to cast each turn and give casualty is a fucking time warp. And like, I'm not doing that, but maybe the people in the wild that are playing this deck are, and that's pretty strong. So, I don't know, dude. Who fucking knows? Me personally, in the deck that I built, or not built, or the deck that I played him in, I think I'm gonna put this guy in the fucking mids tier. He's very cool looking, it's a very cool concept, but ultimately the power level of that, mids. Alright. Who's up next? It's Marchesa. Again. But this one. Oh, Cole in the chat saying, good thing we don't have to play Approach with Silver Quill and we can be cool and measured Magic players. The thing about that, Cole, is you're out here forking edicts, so I don't know if you're cool and measured Magic players either. You are not free of sin, my guy. Alright. Hey, this isn't about me. No, I think you've made it about you, bro. Oh. Alright, Marchesa the Black Rose. For 1 in Grixis, a legendary creature, human wizard. She's got Dethrone. Other creatures you control have Dethrone. And whenever a creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it dies, return that card to the battlefield under your control at the beginning of the next end step. Marchesa is an extremely... I had to stop mid-sentence because Light said something truly fucking bullshit. Yeah, Cole, let someone who is truly free of sin, like me, handle this extremely loud, incorrect buzzer, and I fucking know this is bait. You only said that to get this reaction out of me. Free of sin? Absolutely fucking not, bitch. And it worked? Fuck. Got my ass. Alright, you know what? Fair enough. Anyway, let's talk about Marchesa. The context in which I'm playing Marchesa. I have attempted to build a Wither deck with her as the command zone, and just like, not just Wither, but also the Blight cards from the most recent trip to Lorwyn Shadowmoor. Because the Dethrone will let you turn off the downside of Blight cards by erasing the -1/-1 counters with +1/+1 counters. That deck is not very good, and I don't know that we'll play it again. We played it like 1 time, and it was not good. The other places that we're playing Marchesa, though, is in the 99 of my Dark Lord Sauron deck, because all of the Nazgul get the +1/+1 counters, all of the Amass guys have the +1/+1 counters, and then Sauron himself giving him Dethrone is very, like... It just feels good. And her bringing all of the guys with +1/+1 counters back to the battlefield under your control feels like my board state has the 1-up mushroom in its pocket, which is pretty powerful if you are going to get board wiped, and you will. In the wild, Marchesa is pretty consistently a theft deck where they are active treasoning your guys, they're sending them at whoever will trigger Dethrone to put the +1/+1 counter on them, and then they're sacrificing them for value and returning them to the battlefield under their control, and you don't get your guy back ever. And that's pretty strong, and also pretty rude. It's also very effective. I think that Marchesa is quite strong. She is. You know, I think we gotta put her in the fucking loud pack. The fact of the matter is putting the one-up mushroom in all of your guys' pockets is pretty strong, even if you're not doing the extremely rude theft game plan. And just like having a board state that never goes away, it's like, what are you supposed to do about this besides like wrap everything with exile? And those are kind of hard to come by. And Atria says, I actually think because of that, she's really good at any bracket because her thievery scales with whatever your opponents are playing. Yeah, the thing about theft decks is they are only as good as the cards that your opponents are bringing. And there is that. She's just really good at what she does. So yeah, I think Marchesa the Black Rose, we're going to put you in loud pack. You were serving quite a bit of redacted, and you're very good at your job. All right, up next, we've got Ashnod, the Grixis one. Of course, there's 50 bajillion cards that say Ashnod on them, but we want this one from the Brothers War set, where she's got that very cute goth bob look. All right, Ashnod the Uncaring for 2 in Grixis, legendary creature, human artificer. She's got Death Touch. She's a 1/4, and whenever you activate an ability of an artifact or creature that isn't a mana ability, if one or more permanents were sacrificed to activate it, you may copy that ability. You may choose new targets for the copy. Yeah, Cole, you did actually recommend this to me, and I have built a deck on MTGO where we played this a couple of times. The thing that she is asking is kind of a lot. She does double all of your clues, double all of your blood tokens, and that is pretty strong. If you have like Executioner's Capsule or Conjurer's Bauble or any cards like that where you have to sacrifice the thing to activate the ability, her doubling all of that is pretty strong. Sacrificing a reassembling skeleton to Yawgmoth Thran Physician and getting a copy of that ability, also pretty strong. The potential for Ashnod the Uncaring is pretty fucking high, but the actual deck that I built with the cards that I had available was simply not serving those levels of redacted. It was just mid at best, and ultimately not that great, bro. I like her a lot. She does enable taking a lot of game actions and moving cards in between zones, which can be very satisfying to the gamers who like to touch cards. But in terms of actually advancing the game state meaningfully via the reduction of life totals, she didn't really have a whole lot of power in the way of that. And that is, I think, a thing that I highly value. So in the context of the deck that I built, I think we gotta fucking rate Ashnod the Uncaring as Reggie. The deck ultimately did not end up very strong, even though it was a lot of fun to play. So yeah. Ashnod the Uncaring, I dubbed thee Reggie. Congratulations. Alright, there it is. The last commander, Thraxamundar. And we gotta make sure we have the the secret layer printing with the metal poster art and text. Thraxamundar is a 4 in Grixis legendary creature zombie assassin with haste, and whenever Thraxamundar attacks, defending player sacrifices a creature of their choice. Whenever a player sacrifices a creature, you may put a +1/+1 counter on Thraxamundar, and he's a 6/6. This guy is so fucking sick. We got fans of the secret lair printing in the chat, hell yeah. Oh, and it's Etria's literal first Grixis commander. Me and this dude terrorized everyone back in the day. Nice, dude, hell yeah. Were you on like Fleshbag Marauder typo? Because that is probably what this deck is if you see it in the wild. As for me, I was playing Thraxamundar as a control win condition as the commander of my Goad deck. See you later, Lephanos. Thanks so much for coming through. All right. Yeah, he's the commander of my Go deck. So the thing that I would do is force a lot of combat, make you all fight amongst yourselves until we make it down to the 1v1. And the thing with Goat is you're always like, fuck, dude, how do I win the 1v1 if I can't turn your creatures against you? Here is where we enter Thraxamundar, my arena champion. Once we're down to the 1v1, it's the 1v1 via you and him, and I send him into the battle, and the flavor text on the first printing of this is his name means he who paints the earth red, and we are calling him forth so that he can paint the earth red once more. And that's exactly what he fucking does. I send him at you a 6/6 who becomes a 7/7 and demand the sacrifice of a creature of you, and that you answer Thraxamundar or you die. And this is such a hard thing to get around. Indominus Lux in the chat says, I remember the first time I played against this card from you. Got your ass with change of plans. Man. I do not remember that. I'm sure it was very annoying though. Is this guy like phased out with change of plans? Is that what happened? Literally like 4 years ago? Holy shit, babes. Not the ceaseless, cruel march of time. Each of X target creatures you control connive. You may have any number of them phase out. Gotcha. So you fucking phase out your board. Yes, I tried to double up a trigger on you and force a double sack on you. And you're just like, you know what? That's cool. I'm gonna phase my whole board out. Okay, and we'll take 6. And I'm like, fuck, no. Brutal. But yeah, Thraxamundar is the commander of the Go deck, is pretty fucking sweet. We also have cards like Irenicus's Vile Duplication in the deck, like Light's talking about, to make 2 Thraxamundars and have you answer both of those, and that's not an easy thing to do. So if you can get out from under that, then congratulations to you, you fucking earned it. But otherwise, my arena champion is claiming heads. He's very effective at what he does, and I absolutely adore this guy. The other thing that we do with Thraxamundar is, because he's an assassin, I can play him in the 99 of my Ezio deck, where I play all of the assassins for black with free running. And man, Thraxamundar on turn 3 with Ezio is completely fucking inappropriate. That is a very hard thing to get out from under. So if you do that, congratulations. And plays like that is why that deck is a bracket 3, even though it has no game changers. Oh, Thraxamundar, my beloved. And you've got this sick fucking metal art. Truly, I just love to look at him. What an incredible Magic the Gathering card. I think even though you are 7 mana, you come down and you are demanding to be answered, and you serve every bit of redacted that you need to for the mana that you cost. Oh no! Adria says, I would have loved to use Thrax with Jeweled Lotus when it was legal. I never did. Yeah, see, this is not a commander that deserves to come down 3 turns early, and that's exactly the kind of thing that people were doing with Jeweled Lotus, which is why that card is banned. It's never a fucking vanilla 6/6. It's always some bullshit like Thraxamundar. Bruh, can you imagine Kefka in a Jeweled Lotus environment? We can't have this. I'm glad that card's banned. Anyway, enough Jeweled Lotus posting. Thraxamundar, my dear, you serve so much redacted. I think we're gonna put you in the loud pack tier. You are very cool and strong, and I love you. And that about does it. That is all of our commanders ranked in the context of the deck that we played them in. We've got in the top shelf tier, Sauron, Lord of the Rings, Sauron the Dark Lord, Edward Kenway, Fire Lord Azula, Inala, Kefka. In the loud pack tier, Idea Possessed Sorcerer, Saruman the White Hand, Gorogor and Satoru, Abaddon the Despoiler, Be'lakor the Dark Master, Cass Dissonant Mage, Marchesa, and Thrax. In the mids tier, Gubbin and Flame, Thorani, Cult of Skaro, Davros, Don Andres, Marchesa, Admiral Brass, what is his fucking name? Mishra, Cedrus, Cecily, and Angelo. In the Reggie tier, we have Missy, Garzazol, Ashnod the Uncaring, and in the Schwag tier, Croesus the Purger. That's it. We fucking did it, gamers. Yeah, we have Mishra here, Claude. We put him in the... I just saw him. Yes, right here. Mishra Eminent Ones in the mids tier. Important to note that all of these are in the context of the deck that I built and played with them. So it is entirely possible that the deck that you built and played for Mishra is Loud Pack or Top Shelf, but the pre-con has him at mids, and so that's where he is here, because that's the context in which I played him. If anybody else in the chat has a favorite Grixis commander that you didn't see here or did see here and would like to litigate, then bring that up. But as it stands, this is my fucking ratings. We did it. We got through 29 commanders. Let's hit this download button and download the image. Indominus Lux says a 4-mana Bolus is better than Kefka. I maybe agree, but I don't have Bolus in the command zone. He is in the 99 of Grixis Chandras, and probably will never see the command zone there because the whole point is that Bolus isn't the commander. But I do really like his activated abilities on the Planeswalker side, especially the like spell theft one. I'm such a fucking criminal. I love to crime like that, and I'm gonna just like reach my inky tendrils into your mind and steal your good spells. Cole says, unfortunately, the universe has determined I am Johnny Mardu, so you have taken the universal balance of Grixis legends. Yeah, this is true. I have to balance out all of your Mardu bullshit with my Grixis bullshit. In this, we will find harmony. And Claude says, the context is indeed key here. I personally loved him for the Storm deck I made. Oh, I think that's a different Grixis or Mishra then. Is that the like first printing of Mishra? Because this is Mishra Eminent One. If it's a Storm deck, it's probably the Artificer Prodigy because of the way that this guy works with cards like Possibility Storm or the other cards that work with him. If you're a Mishra gamer, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you're not a Mishra gamer, don't worry about it, kitten. Etria says, once upon a time, I put a Phyresis on Negazar. We don't talk about those days. Oh man, that guy swag too tough. Bitch too bad. I do not put him in the command zone, but I do have Negazar in the 99 of my Madness deck. Yeah, dude, there's multiple Mishras. There's like 4 of them now. Let's Mishra IS commander. We'll filter to all of them. There we go. There's every Mishra. I think my favorite Mishra is probably Mishra claimed by Gix. This guy is fucking incredible for the Crash at Aristocrats game plan of just making a bunch of like creatures and then turning them all sideways. He fucking melts life totals and you don't give a fuck what happens to your goblins or your zombie tokens. It's like waiting for Etria to tell a story that doesn't make me think rude things for public TV. Yeah, here's the deal. Etria really likes to play bracket 4 commander, and that's what goes on up there. For the rest of us mid-smokers, maybe other things happen. Yeah, there's a lot of alternate art nowadays, Claude. I absolutely understand. Can never be sure if a card is the one I was thinking of. Yeah, fair enough. There is a reason that Benji and Etria have that bit, erasing the counter and just days since Etria let people play Magic zeros. All right. I think that that is going to do it for our stream today, gamers. We have successfully ranked all 29 commanders. We're going to post this tier list on the internet, so if you follow me on the websites, you can like and retweet that accordingly when that goes up. And thank you all so much for coming through. This has been a very fun time. I don't have a color trio that I'm as passionate about as Grixis, but maybe one day when I've played enough Mardu commanders, we can go through and do this again with them. Or maybe fucking we'll get Johnny Mardu's ass in here and get him to rank his commanders. Has he done enough of those? Who knows? Before closing things out, first I want to hit the album promo button. So, I put out an album last week called Space Girl Story. It is available on my Bandcamp at djspacegirl.bandcamp.com. You can also just like Google search DJ Space Girl Bandcamp and that'll take you to there. It's got instrumental hip hop that is inspired by Witch House and Rare Funk and Dirty South hip hop, and if any of that is your jam, then fucking check it out. I put a lot of work and love into it, so I think if you're about that life, then you'll enjoy it. And if you're not about that life, fucking check it out anyway. You love me. I'm also thinking about doing you know, like how on late night talk shows they'll like have the artist come on and do like an interview about the album to promote that. I wanna do that, so I think we're gonna try that bit. And I don't know when that'll come out, but like eventually. So look forward to it. Okay, that's it. Obligations fully fulfilled. I think that we are all good on that then. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming through. This has been an extremely fun time. What's the thing that we say when we're closing here? Right. We've been MTG Lexicon. We've been the dive bar of EDH, here for your filthy drunken casual commander content. And remember, as always, gamers, the next round is on us. Later, y'all.